Welcome back, everyone. I'm Rebecca Weber. We're here at CPAC. You Are Better for America podcast, and joining me now is a wonderful man, Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes, you're a former congressman. You were the chair of the House Intelligence Committee from 2015 to 2019. You were also a member of Donald Trump's transition team. And in March of 2017, the U.S. House Intelligence Committee, which you chaired at the time, launched an investigation into possible Russian interference in the United States elections. And then you publicly released a 4-page memorandum alleging an FBI conspiracy against Trump. My question for you, sir, is why do you think the establishment is so fearful of President Donald J. Trump?
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And it's like this, the Russia hoax never dies. It just lives on. And it's all the same people that are still here in the nation's capital in the swamp. Like the same people all got promoted. And so I think, to answer your question directly, what do they fear about Trump, is that Trump was the first president, Republican president since Ronald Reagan, to be able to go into the Rust Belt and actually turn out what traditionally people who don't vote, or they're traditionally people who were the old Reagan Democrats. And we tried for so long, and we had a tough time, Republicans, making any penetration into those states whatsoever. And as I think everybody knows, Donald Trump stunned the world by winning Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Right? Even Ohio was a question mark. And that was something that hadn't happened. And now you're looking at states like Ohio that have definitely moved right and have become red. So I think the thing is that Donald Trump has a movement that is based off built on his core belief. And this isn't his words; these are my words. Donald Trump has one strong core belief that bothered him from the first time that I met him in 2016. He did not like seeing those old buildings, factories sitting empty in places in the Rust Belt. It bothers him. It still bothers him to this day. And I think that's the difference, right? He ran on jobs, and that people, if they get involved in their government, he'll fix it. And they're scared of that. And the swamp and the left are scared of that. And under the Obama years, they completely corrupted the government. And so, you get within 15 miles of Washington, D.C., it is a total disaster now, because you've got some 90% of the people who vote left. And so that basically all the people that work in the bureaucracies are left, and the bureaucracies get bigger and bigger and bigger. And Donald Trump was a threat to that.
Yeah, I love the fact that he's got a business mind. And so many great ideas, and I love that he wants to put America first, so I am thrilled that he's in the race for 2024. That's really good stuff. When you look today at the FBI, and there's public trust has plummeted, it seems, of course, among our AMAC membership. They don't really trust the FBI, the Department of Justice. Yeah. Do you think that the FBI today has been ideologic? Excuse me, I can't say my words today. Yeah. But that they've been really captured by the left, that the ideology that the FBI seems to display, even recently, calling parents terrorists, for example, issuing memorandums to look out for what's happening in Catholic churches. What is going on?
Yeah, so it's related to what I briefly talked about in the last question, and that is that the bureaucracies keep getting bigger here, and the left has figured out how to take them over. So the problem you have, and you were right to mention FBI and DOJ in the same breath, because they're one and the same, right? Actually, the FBI is under the DOJ. And what they successfully did under the Obama years is they seeded in all throughout the Department of Justice and into the top levels of the FBI, left-wingers, activists, political actors, people that aren't there to do the job of the FBI, which is to keep the American people safe. And so the larger the bureaucracies get in Washington, the worse it's going to get. And just now, you have this, they're going to build a new FBI building, which is absolutely nuts. I was worked in intelligence business for a long time. I think, at least a decade or more, plus all the times I spent overseas during, as a member of Congress during the Iraq War and Afghanistan and everywhere like that. So if you look moving forward, the last thing we need are more intelligence people
spending
or
more
military
money
spending
too.
money
It's
here in Washington. It makes absolutely no sense. And I fought for that. I spent a lot of time traveling around the world, and I would go and meet with all of our embassies. And I'm thinking to myself, why would we be putting, we had so few people that are actually out there on the front line, right? That are supposed to be, really that, because you're not going to find out anything from Washington D.C. other than you're going to become a bureaucrat.
That's it.
Right? And you're going to become a creature of the left. Where you learn stuff and you pick up information is by putting people out in the field. So if you're growing people, and so the same holds true for the FBI, why would you be putting more and more people in Washington, D.C.? If anything, you should be putting them throughout the United States.
That's a very, very good point. I want to talk about what you're doing today. Today, as I understand, you are overseeing CEO of Trump Media, Truth Social, which is a platform that we love. AMAC members love Truth Social. And we saw that President Trump was recently reinstated on many of these other platforms.
Yeah.
Do you think that he'll take them up as he runs for president? Any word on that? And
well, look, the key is here that we set out to build something that couldn't be
replicated, perhaps, right?
But couldn't be attacked.
Or attacked in
couldn't,
that way,
couldn't be taken down, I should say. We get attacked every day, but the key was to make sure that we could not be taken down. And so, because we watched Parler, I was one of the first guys to go to Parler. As a congressman, I was the first guy.
Sure.
I was the first guy to go to Rumble. And they're kind of a tale of two different companies, right? Parler relied on all the big tech giants. Rumble did not. Rumble built everything from the ground up. And so when they destroyed Parler, when these big tech companies destroyed Parler by basically nuking them from the internet, I was only left as a congressman with my Rumble channel, because I was censored or shadow banned on all the other channels. And so, and then of course, the story, President Trump gets kicked off of all the social media. So then he came to me at the end of 2021 and said, asked if I would come and build this out just to make sure that we can't be taken down. So we have successfully built an easy-to-use platform working with Rumble, and we've created a whole separate ecosystem that can't be taken down by anyone.
That is wonderful.
And it's I think it's a big feat. We're one of the fastest growing social media companies in history. We got a long way to go, but we've got a really a great team of people and a great set of users. It's a fun place to be. We keep all the bots and all the nasty stuff off of there, and you're free to express your political views without having the threat that you might be taken down or taken off.
Today, that is so needed, especially with so many, the threat against...
And it just happened yesterday. Senator Mike Lee, senator from Utah, got booted from Twitter yesterday, got suspended.
Wow, okay.
Nobody knows why. So it's still happening.
It is just crazy. And that's the public square. It's where we should all be able to freely express ourselves. And so much of what conservatives have said over the years has turned out to be true. Things like the virus perhaps leaking from the Wuhan lab. But we weren't allowed to say those things. We need a space where conservatives can speak without being suppressed and quieted. So we thank you so much.
Well, the thing is, we're running out of conspiracy theories because they're all coming true.
They're all coming true.
They always accuse us of all these conspiracy theries, right?
That's right.
They've all come true. When I said, look, there is this Russia deal's a hoax, they said, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, right? When they said, hey, this Hunter Biden laptop, it looks really bad, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, it's Russian disinformation. It's a conspiracy theory that people are being shadow banned on all these platforms. And then, of course, Elon Musk buys it. What happens? We all learn,
We all learn that
they were shadow banning us.
That's right. Before we let you run, and I appreciate your time so much, tell me a little bit about your hope for 2024 and America's future as a whole. There's so many national security threats that we're facing. I'm concerned about China. We're concerned about what's happening at the border wall. We see people dying of fentanyl overdoses. The homelessness is rising. People are entering poverty at rates we haven't seen in years. This is terrible leadership currently. Do you think that we can really change things and win back and save America and get back to where we were under the Trump administration?
Well, I like to believe that in the old saying that America usually does the right thing or eventually does the right thing after we've exhausted all other options. And, there's, the debt crisis that faces us. You've got China on the rise. These are all serious problems.
Real issues.
And I think there's probably to me, the most important issue at the highest level is actually the corruption at the Department of Justice. So what you're seeing right now with whether it's the Hunter Biden laptop fiasco or the raid of Mar-a-Lago or the appointment of these special prosecutors, the one they appointed for Trump and the one they appointed for Biden. I mean, the one they appointed for Biden was a guy who was directly involved in targeting me as a congressman, specifically my staff going to a grand jury to go access to their emails, bank records, that sort of thing. So these are people that anybody who was involved in that Russia hoax should be nowhere near government, but for sure not anywhere near the Department of Justice. So I think that's the key that the Republicans in the House have to really focus on. This weaponization of justice committee that Jim Jordan is running, James Comer, they've got a lot of work to do in that arena right now, this year, so that it can be exposed. Nobody's expecting the Department of Justice to bust themselves because they've been unwilling to do it.
Right.
I mean, we've seen it with John Durham's investigation that was started with our investigation. Our investigation led to Special Prosecutor John Durham. He's been unsuccessful. He's tried hard, but he's been unsuccessful at bringing prosecutions. Why? Because he's having to bring them here in Washington, D.C., and I don't think he can get the Department of Justice to target their own people, which is really what needs to happen.
Needs to happen. Terribly unfair. Well, we'll be watching out, hoping and praying for better days ahead. Devin Nunes, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.